always teases me about my famous meatloaf, which is not so famous. Hello, everyone. Welcome. We begin here at 5 o'clock with a big development in the fight against coronavirus. All adults in the U.S. can now get a COVID vaccine booster shot. Today, both the CDC and the FDA signed off on a booster for people 18 and older. The only requirement is that at least 6 months have passed since someone received their second dose of the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine, or 2 months since getting the single-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine. The doses are expected to be available in Oregon as early as this weekend. Government officials urge those 50 and older, in particular, to get that booster. In the trial of Kyle Rittenhouse today, a jury found the 18-year-old not guilty on all counts. He faced charges stemming from protests in Kenosha, Wisconsin last year when he shot and killed 2 people and injured a third. Rittenhouse, who is from nearby Antioch, Illinois, broke down today when the verdict was read. The jury had deliberated since Tuesday. The defense said Rittenhouse's actions at the protests were in self-defense. Opinion over the verdict remains divided.
He wishes none of this would have ever happened, but as he said when he testified, he did not start this, and we're thankful in more ways than one.
There's no way that you can justify in the streets of America that an individual can carry an automatic weapon, an AR-15, and shoot and kill anybody under any reason.
The protest last year had followed the shooting of Jacob Blake, a black man who was shot by a white police officer. Right now, there are about 500 National Guard soldiers deployed in Kenosha on standby if needed. To this point, there have not been any serious issues. The verdict is drawing reactions across the country, including in Oregon. Governor Brown tweeting, "Some people may be hurting hearing this verdict today. Please take care of each other in this difficult moment. We have a lot of work to do as a country in building a more just and equitable future." Portland Commissioner Joanne Hardesty said in a short tweet, "We have an injustice system in America." And Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler said in a statement, "I join with many Portlanders and Oregonians in feeling profoundly disappointed on the Rittenhouse trial verdict. Our work to reform and improve the criminal justice system must continue." Portland Police Chief Chuck Lavelle also touched on the verdict during a news conference today and the potential for unrest that may result. He said the Bureau is aware and monitoring and will deal with the situation as necessary. However, the main focus today was on Portland's gun violence and the police staffing situation. KGW's Mike Benner joins us with a closer look at those aspects. Mike?
Well, Earl, good evening. Chief Chuck Lavelle said he is grateful for the extra funding City Council signed off on 2 days ago. He says he wants to start adding officers as soon as possible, but he says it takes time. That's because the Bureau laid off its recruitment manager and others directly involved in the hiring process a long time ago when the money wasn't there. Chief Lavelle says right now he's working hard to rebuild what he calls the hiring machine. Once that's done, they can start hiring the additional officers for the streets. All of this comes at a very violent time in the Rose City. So far this year, there have been more than 1,100 shootings in Portland. 57 of those were deadly. The enhanced community safety team is working the streets already, and the chief hopes to have another specialized team, the new focused intervention team, on the streets early next year. These teams will work to get justice for victims of gun violence and their families, of course.
Their cases are important to us. The tragedy of losing a loved one to gun violence or in any other means is just devastating to a family.
All right, Chief Lavelle also addressed the unusually high number of drivers and pedestrians who have died on Portland streets this year. There have been dozens. The chief says it's getting darker earlier. It's wet, of course. He urges people to slow down and be cautious. Laurel?
Thank you, Mike. Portland police are asking for help to find a suspect accused of shooting at officers last weekend. They're looking for 27-year-old Christian Daniel Fitzhenry. Officers tried to pull over the stolen car he was in last Saturday, and they had to use spike strips to stop the car. That's when police say Fitzhenry and the woman driving got out and ran. This happened in Northeast Portland. Fitzhenry fired at officers while running, hitting a police car. No officers were hurt. The alleged driver, Alicia Missner, is also wanted. The two are believed to be together. Call 911 if you see them. In Salem, a house fire is now the subject of a death investigation. Officials say a small fire broke out this morning at a home near McNary Avenue Northwest and 8th Street Northwest. Firefighters put it out. Investigators later discovered 2 people dead in the home. At this point, a cause of death has not been released. A dead dog was also found. 2 other surviving dogs are being cared for by neighbors. A bus carrying students from the coast to Portland for a field trip crashed this morning, closing Highway 6 for several hours. The bus from the Nestucca district hit a loose flatbed trailer. It had detached from a truck. The axle of a school bus took the brunt of the impact. 30 students and 6 adults were on board. 6 were taken to the hospital for minor injuries.
They were all relatively calm. All the students did very well. They were supporting each other. It was cold out there. We were trying to find ways to get them into a warm spot. They just all performed, flawlessly with the stress.
Oregon State Police say the driver responsible for the trailer got a ticket because he didn't have the correct coupling system. We've reported recently on a number of fights and disruptions in many Oregon schools. They're contributing to staff burnout, worrying parents, and they're harmful to students. But what can be done about it? School psychologists say districts need to focus on a basic level of support for all students. And that could be as simple as a reward ticket system at an elementary school where kids could turn in tickets for a prize. Educators say they want district leaders to be proactive. Ask staff for input, then put those ideas into motion.
But I can guarantee you that educators, from bus drivers to classroom teachers, have lots of ideas for ways that we can improve what we have going on currently in schools.
Educators say they need more time to prepare and collaborate with each other, as well as classroom aides, to better meet students where they are. But the staffing shortage makes that more difficult. Some people experiencing homelessness in Vancouver will soon have a supportive place to live. The city just announced the location for its first Safe Stay community. Tim Gordon explains.
Just off Highway 500 and Northeast 112th Avenue in Vancouver is a homeless camp that has grown over time.
So that entire strip of property that we're going to be utilizing is right now one of the largest encampments in town.
Vancouver's homeless response coordinator says this undeveloped dead-end street will become the city's first sanctioned supportive community for the houseless.
It's got easy access, to bring in the shelters, to service the dumpster and the porta potties. And it was also, I think from the beginning, very important to keep people as close to where they currently are when possible.
In fact, many of the people living here now are signed up to move into one of these self-contained shelters.
Yeah, we're excited. Me and my boyfriend are. So they're only bringing 20 in, so yeah.
Debbie Maddox says she and her boyfriend are lucky to have a big tent, but they're happy to trade it in for a shelter with 2 beds, electricity, a small heater, and safety features like smoke and CO2 detectors.
I can finally get a job, I'll be out of the cold, because that's one thing we all worry about is there's been bodies found at homeless camps, Unfortunately, there has been, and we don't want that.
Shelters like these could be lifesavers, and so could the 24/7 staffing and support services to help people break the cycle of homelessness. But first, all this must be cleared out by the end of the month, and neighbors will have a chance to weigh in.
The neighborhood associations anywhere nearby have been contacted, and letters to everyone within 1,200 feet are in the mail, so people should be receiving those any day.
And already a North Image Neighborhood Association officer told us they do have questions they want answered by the city. But barring any major concerns or complications, this is where Vancouver's first sanctioned village will be, with plans to open just before Christmas. Debbie Maddox thinks it will be a great gift to her and others.
They're going to be helping with just, everyday life, like helping us find jobs, helping us, get the resources that we need. Some people, they're in different, everybody's in a different boat.
Now, we mentioned community input. That is on now and formally ends December 1st. And we've got information about how you can take part at our story at KGW.com. In Clark County, Tim Gordon, KGW News.
And on that theme, a new cold weather shelter is now open in North Portland. It's meant to get people off the streets in the wintertime. It's in the Arbor Lodge neighborhood, and county leaders are asking the public for help. KGW's Bryant Clerkley is here in the studio with us. Bryant, what do leaders want? What are they asking for?
Hey, Laurel. Well, Do Good Multnomah is operating the shelter, and the organization is asking for winter clothes, hygiene products, and anything else someone who's houseless would need. Now, people will start moving into the shelter tonight. It's in the Arbor Lodge neighborhood, and it will house up to 70 people. There's room on the inside, and there's tiny homes on the outside. Now, people will be able to get food, a shower, and use a clean bathroom. Pets are allowed inside, and when it comes to getting people to the shelter, there's a referral phone number that people can call, and there's an outreach team going out into the community and speaking to people living on the streets.
During the coldest nights of the year, when it's a severe weather status, we have a partnership with TriMet, and they will offer free service to anyone who needs to get to one of our severe weather shelters. And that's when the city and the county have declared a state of emergency for the weather event.
The shelter will be open until the end of April, and if it is full at any time, volunteers will help people find another shelter somewhere in the city. And if people want to donate or volunteer, there will be links on our website, kgw.com, or you can just show up at the shelter and drop things off. Back to you, Laurel.